Hey guys, what's up? How are you doing? Today in this video, we're going to be uncovering the mystery of giants. This is a follow-up literally just on my previous video, which I uploaded today, about the story time of that girl that obviously is dating God, thinks that she's dating God and wants to marry him and sleep with him. And then we touched on basically how the angels aren't supposed to be married. They weren't created to be married. However, they still disobeyed God's command and got married in the ancient times of the world. So let's have a read of it. Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 to 4. So it says, "Now it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown." So, what this is saying is the offsprings of the sons of God, as they went into the daughters of men, were giants. These were called men of renown. And I looked up the definition of renown, and renown simply means to be known or talked about by many, or it could simply mean famous. Before the Bible was compiled as we know it today, giants were actually known. So I come from a country originally called Ghana, and there was a giant that was known there, and his name was Asebu Amanfi. And as you can see in this illustration of him, he's almost as tall as this tree. And just reading a bit about him, it says, according to oral tradition, he was a giant with remarkable physical attributes and spiritual powers. So just thinking about that, remarkable physical attributes and spiritual powers. Now, the sons of God, they were spiritual beings, so it wouldn't be a shock if any of these giants actually possessed spiritual powers. Now, going to Job chapter 1, verses 6, speaking of who the sons of God really are. So it says, "Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came from among them." So as we see Satan in the mix of the crowd of the sons of God, we can know that this verse specifically is speaking about angels. And there was also a point where some of these angels, they came to earth in rebellion against God and slept with human women, known as the daughters of men, as it speaks of in Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 to 4, and they produced offspring. Now, what actually happened to the angels that did this? Well, I believe Jude gives us a clue. In Jude 6 to 7. In Jude 6 to 7, it says, "All the angels who did not keep their proper domain, but left their own abode, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day, as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them, in a similar manner to these, having given themselves to sexual immorality and gone after strange flesh, are set forth as an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire." Now, check this. It says they left their proper domain, meaning they overstepped boundaries. And it contrasts them in verse 7 with Sodom and Gomorrah having given themselves over to sexual immorality. So it contrasts these specific angels next to a verse describing Sodom and Gomorrah giving themselves to sexual immorality and going after strange flesh. So with that being contrasted with Sodom and Gomorrah, that specific verse in Jude 6 to 7, many Bible commentators, they conclude these are the angels that are mentioned in Genesis 6, the verse that we read right at the beginning of the video. Because think about it, Jude isn't talking about all fallen angels regarding this, because Satan, who is the main adversary of God, the leader of fallen angels, as we believe as Christians, he's still roaming the earth. So there's a specific set of angels that are not roaming the earth, but are chained in hell till the day of judgment. And we know Satan is roaming the earth still because he came to tempt Jesus in Matthew chapter 4 to try cause him to appease his flesh whilst he was fasting and sin against the Lord. Now, there's probably more to this, the mystery of giants, but that's going down a very deep rabbit hole, which I don't feel led to go down at the moment. So who knows, we might get there.